Christina Thompson, thank you, Christina. Appreciate that update. And let's get some more analysis and insight onto these major rulings. Joining us now, former United States Attorney for Washington, D.C., Joe DeGenova. He's also a chief counsel on the Senate Rules Committee. Alongside him is former federal prosecutor and criminal defense attorney, currently Katie Cherkasky, and associate professor of law at SHUPL University, Ronald Joseph Lin. Welcome to you all. A lot to get through and digest, but as we break it down, I guess the big one right now when it comes to how the president is reacting is this student loan ruling, which basically is a big disappointment if you are Biden. And obviously, it would have been a huge cost to taxpayers, estimated, Joe, to cost $430 billion. The high court ruling, it is who has the authority to do this? They're saying not Biden. He just responded moments ago. I want to get your reaction. He says, the president, I believe that the court's decision to strike down our student debt relief plan is wrong, if we can put the statement up. He adds, but I will stop at nothing to find other ways to deliver relief to hardworking middle-class families. My administration will continue to work to bring the promise of higher education to every American. I guess a lot of folks are saying, but at the cost to other taxpayers? Is that what this is about?
Well, there's no doubt about it that this is a monumental loss for the president. At least today, he didn't call the court not normal. When he did that yesterday, he performed a really dangerous act in a situation politically where justices of the Supreme Court have been threatened with death. What he should have done yesterday and today was say he has respect for the court, he disagrees with its ruling, and he will do whatever the law permits him to do to help people that he thinks needs help. The problem is the court was so profoundly clear in what it said, he doesn't have this power, and if he wants to forgive this debt, he has to go to Congress to get it done, just like Nancy Pelosi said he had to.
I believe we have great analysis there, Joe, always. But Chuck Schumer's weighing in on the student loan, loss here for the Bidens. If we can put up his tweet. Obviously, we know that the Democrats will not be too happy about this. He calls it disappointing and cruel. Katie, just weigh in on the reaction we're getting from the fight will not end here. Katie, your reaction to Chuck Schumer and the left's reaction?
Well, I'm sure they're very disappointed. This was a huge campaign promise, and it was never going to be upheld by this court because it was clearly outside of the authority of the executive to do this. As my fellow colleague here has mentioned, if President Biden wanted this plan to pass, he has to go through Congress. This was one of the greatest usurpation of congressional authority by an executive in history if this had been allowed to go through, just on the sheer numbers. So certainly it's disappointing, but constitutionally speaking, it was very clear.
Yeah, and Lori Smith, the other woman involved in the other major ruling today, she's celebrating a win. We just heard her reaction here. And, Senator Ted Cruz is also responding to that other ruling for the Colorado website maker, talking about what the court did. And he says this law wasn't just a threat to Christians either. This should be a Muslim artist be compelled by the government to draw the image of Muhammad. Should Jewish artists be forced to create art that is anti-Semitic? No, absolutely not. And I think, Ronald, to bring you in here, when you look at sort of the law and the rule, this woman is saying, I have religious fundamental things that I'll make you a website, but I don't want to express things on it. And the court weighed in her favor.
Right. And I think that today and yesterday was a great day for all Americans. It's a great day for the foundations that founded our country. And most importantly, in terms of yesterday, it was a great day that kind of validated the words of Martin Luther King Jr., right, who said, we should not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. And I think that, let's not forget that all these victories that we're having on the court level, these are a direct result of President Trump, right? If President Trump had not put those justices in there, we would not have the that we have today.
And what will move forward now as a result of these major decisions just in the past 48 hours? One of them is an interesting takeaway. It's coming from the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission Commissioner Andrea Lucas says, the ruling on affirmative action is also a wake-up call because he says there's a ton of pressure at the corporate 100 across corporate America to take race-conscious decision-making. It's illegal. It's still illegal. Joe, over to you. Do you think we'll see some more lawsuits when it comes to, these DEI policies at major corporations in the wake of SCOTUS ruling yesterday?
Absolutely. People are going to be emboldened to move to protect their civil rights against the encroachment of discrimination. And let me just say something about that ruling involving Harvard and the University of North Carolina. Since Bakke and Grutter, the American universities have been resisting obeying Supreme Court precedent. And after this decision yesterday, the Academy is going to do exactly the same thing again. They're call it a workaround. They are going to try and disobey the law of the land to figure out a way to discriminate against Asians and whites. You watch, it's only a matter of time. And that's going to lead to more litigation, not only with corporations, but with universities. The Academy has become basically a criminal class.
Yeah, and I think 30 seconds to you, Katie. I'll give you the final word here. President Biden will be speaking this afternoon. There was concerns, as you just heard Joe say, too, from a lot of Americans saying he's saying this is not a normal court. And there's been attempts on justices' lives here. This type of comments, many say, are not productive to the nation with a court that is supposed to be apolitical here.
It's very disappointing to see such disrespect to our institutions. These decisions were no surprise, just based on a pure constitutional analysis. And I would expect the president to have the respect for a co-equal branch of government in that respect. But clearly, that's not the direction this will go, and it will engender much more resentment, which is very, very unfortunate.
Great to have you all in today. Katie, Joe, and Ronald, thank you for your time and your insight. We certainly appreciate it. And still ahead this hour, House Republicans demanding more than a dozen federal officials to appear before congressional committees. They want transcribed interviews from David Weiss, Leslie Wolf, and others. We have new details as the pressure mounts on the Biden family business deals. Plus, more than 600 people arrested, 200 police officers injured after a third night of violent protests unfolding in France. This is over the shooting death of a 17-year-old teen in that country. We'll take you live to the streets of Paris. And we'll be right back.